Okay guys, I found some shade here. I'm on a bike ride. Just grabbed my old mountain bike on a little bike ride. It's the middle of July and it's very hot. But I'm going to take this opportunity here in the shade to tell you how I deal with cycling in the heat. All right, maybe the most fundamental thing that I do is my route planning. So I'll check the weather, see what I'm expecting in terms of the temperature, any kind of thunderstorms, the wind. Am I going to get any breeze? Like today, no breeze at all. So does the route have tree cover at certain intervals? And you got to kind of understand the intervals too. Like, you know, it's great if you have some shade in the beginning, but if the end is completely exposed to the sun, that's a pretty bad situation. I plan to have money with me, so in case I have the opportunity to purchase a drink, I can purchase a nice cold drink and get my core temperature down, get my hydration in shape. I also, of course, plan a certain number of water bottles. So all of these things. I make sure to bring my phone. So all of these things just to plan the trip, make sure I'm ready in case you know, things get serious and I need to stop the trip short, or if I need to just you know, get some relief with some shade or air conditioning. All right, let's talk about clothing. I really like moisture wicking clothing that is light and thin. I like light colors, so whites, you know, yellows like this. They will allow the sun to bounce off for the most part. So as opposed to dark or black. Black will just soak up that sun, and you're going to feel the brunt of the sun if you wear black or really dark clothing. So light clothing is where it's at, especially the shirt. You could even wear long sleeve if it's nice, thin, breathable material, like some fishing shirts and things like that. Let's see, what else? I like to cover the back of my neck if I'm in exposed sunlight for hours at a time. If it's a 1 hour ride, a lot of times I'll just use sunscreen. But I like to use something like this. Just a bandana just stuffed underneath my hat. I've seen a great product out there that attaches to your existing helmet, and it is a nice wide brim. It goes all the way around, so it'll cover the back of your neck and give you plenty of breeze as you're riding through the wind. Next, I want to talk about water and hydration. So if the ride is any more than about an hour and a half, I will take 2 water bottles like this. These are 24 ounce and they're somewhat insulated. The insulation doesn't help a whole lot after about an hour to hour and a half. Even if I fill it with mostly ice, that ice will be gone in about an hour and a half. So I do find it still important to still drink that water, even though it may not help bring my core temperature down. It is still replacing the water that I'm losing through sweat. So, in fact, after that hour and a half, it is all the more important for me to continue drinking. Because if you think about it, you know, I may have just left the house and you know, hydrated, and my body's at a great temperature. But after about an hour and a half, you know, the water's getting warm, I'm sweating a lot. That's when I really need to keep you know, drinking water. So I do. I keep drinking water. I try to plan my routes to where I do have opportunities to refill. That's super important in the heat. Let's see, I use electrolytes. So I'll start with electrolytes, and if it is a hot day, I will continue to add electrolytes to any new water that I fill. And I do have several examples of electrolytes that I use. And I'll show those on screen. They're in powder form or concentrate form or tablet form. So lots of options there, and they do vary in quality. And that's what I do with water. And a quick note about food. Nutrition is important too, maybe not nearly as important as the hydration itself, but depending on the length of your ride, it's nice to have some nutrition, maybe a small bar or some trail mix or something like that to just provide you some good protein, just to keep your body in good shape from a nutrition perspective as well. Another important thing that I keep in mind is my physical condition. If I have been consistently working up to cycling in heat, I have a good sense for what I can do. If I haven't been cycling in the heat, then I won't plan a long trip. It's usually a situation where I'm working up, maybe as the spring becomes summer, I'm consistently cycling, and I'm maybe consistently maintaining certain mileage. So getting a sense for what kind of conditions my body is used to dealing with is super helpful. I really try to avoid a long distance ride all of a sudden when I'm not used to it. During the ride, the most important thing is I listen to my body. And there's a couple things I look for when I'm cycling in the heat, and that is just kind of get a sense for my core temperature. I don't ignore that. I think it's important to realize that, hey, when my core temperature is up, there are no shortcuts to bringing that down other than go find some shade, stop exerting myself, and find cold drinks if possible, and things like that, to some air conditioning. That's really the way to bring down my core temperature. And another thing that happens to me is I get that proverbial tunnel vision, or things look kind of a little shiny. And so I know that's a time where I need to find shade immediately and stop exerting myself. Just kind of bring that core temperature down. Another thing that hasn't happened to me, but is something I obviously look out for, is heat stroke signs. So that's when you're starting to actually feel your stomach is getting queasy, and maybe you feel like throwing up and things like that. That's obviously a sign that I know to find shade immediately and stop exerting myself, and get the hydration I need and all that stuff. All right, and when things get serious, it really just goes back to all the things I've talked about already, and that is find a way to bring my core temperature down, and get some relief. The route planning, the ability to get into some shade, having money so that I can purchase a drink or something to cool myself down, get into some air conditioning. Having a phone is super helpful, to call and say, hey, come pick me up. Being okay with stopping the trip short, because there are no shortcuts to bringing your core temperature down, and if you're feeling ill, that you just don't bounce back from that quickly. It's really preventing and planning the contingencies of bailing out and getting stopping your trip short. And again, none of this is medical advice. These are just some things that I do to manage cycling in the heat. I'm here in Florida. There's going to be times I need to cycle in the heat because I love cycling. And but most importantly, I don't let my ego get in the way, and I'm okay with stopping my trip short if I need to. And hopefully you found this somewhat helpful. I'll talk to you guys next time.